Namaste, friends and family, Venus lovers, soul tribe, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. We have a pretty interesting new moon coming up here on Friday, on July 5th. The sun and moon are conjunct star Sirius. And the title of this talk is An Ancient Summer Solstice. And we're going to get into it. We're going to talk all about Sirius astrology. We're going to talk about the star Sirius. We're going to talk about some mythology and cosmology. And this is also going to serve as a primer for my next video, where it's more of a concept video, something that you can watch all the time. And it will include information about star Sirius and about the solstices. So this lunation is going to be in Gemini. That's right. If you wanted me to say Cancer, you're partly right. Because if you're following tropical astrology, the star Sirius is at 14 degrees of Cancer. However, in the actual sky, it's at 15 degrees of Gemini. The star Sirius is not actually in the constellation of Gemini. It's a little bit below the ecliptic. So the energy that we're going to read is going to be about Gemini. So themes of learning, of knowledge, of your local environment, but most of all, the truth. And when we look deeper into the energy of Sirius, this makes a lot of sense. So let's think about this. The sun, it's our highest expression of our of our spiritual self, of our outward self. It's our masculine energy, it's our ego, and it's the will. And a new moon is a conjunction of sun moon. So the moon is our feminine energy, and it's magnetizing all things to us. And it's also the beginning of a lunar cycle. So if you work with lunar cycles, you know that every time there's a new moon, there's a time of quiet, of setting intentions, and then beginning the next lunation. And it culminates at the full moon. So we're going to talk just about the 5th. We're going to talk about star Sirius, and we're going to get into all of it. So there's an inward expression of the self, the feminine and the masculine, the will and the intuition, and the emotion and the ego, all involved, all around the energy of star Sirius. This is a very serious talk. All right, let me get into a few announcements with you. The lives will resume probably next week. I wanted to get a few recorded videos out to you while I am on my working marathon. I have another triple decker shift coming up here where I work Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and the days in between are a little bit sleepy and a little bit hard to actually accomplish much. So, but I will get out one more video for you, and then the week after, resume the live courses. The other announcement is summer school session 1. I'm just going to share this graphic with you guys because it's easier to talk about it if you can see it. So let me do this so that it is in photos. There we go. So I made this just so that I could explain this course a little bit easier for those of you that are new to my channel. For those of you that have just started following me, I also teach astrology. I teach constellational 13 sign astrology, which includes the sign of Ophiuchus. Okay, this course is already available, meaning that you can enroll right now on the 7th, which is next Sunday, this coming Sunday. The recorded video modules will drop into these specific chapters. There's over 10 video modules. It comprises of about 3.5 hours of video content of me just talking to you, giving you the business. I've also included several resource documents in here, almost 60 pages of resources that will help you understand the financial business chart as well as personal prosperity evaluations. During the time that you are doing these recorded modules, you have email support from me. And of course, Ophiuchus is included in all of our charts. And then the best part about this is if you do this during the summer school, if you enroll while we're developing the class and getting it live, you will be able to participate in two-hour live Q&A sessions with me. The first one's on Saturday the 20th, and the second one is on the 8th of August. Okay. And these are 2-hour sessions. The first one, we're going to talk mostly about business charts. And then the second one, we're going to get into personal evaluation. And then, of course, any other questions that you have. So this is a great deal. There's tuition payment options available as well. So you don't have to drop $88 all in one sitting. But I really think this is going to be a nice experience. This is useful information. This is practical information. And, you know, if you're interested in financial astrology at all, this will be a great course for you guys. So I encourage you to check it out. The intro video is like a free preview. So if you want to learn more about the course, I talk about that in the intro. We go through the first few slides. All right. So I hope y'all take part in that. That's going to be really, really great. I also do have a purpose and prosperity reading. So in the course, I teach you how to do the reading, but I also offer that reading as well. There's a link for that down below. Of course, natal readings accurate to the true sky. And then I'm a Venus specialist. So if you want a Venus reading or Venus transits, those are also available. All right. I think that's it for announcements. So what I want to do, let's go ahead and talk about Star Sirius. This is just amazing, amazing energy. And it happens every year. I guess I just don't think really we really get it, you know. This is a gigantic blue star. It's one of the brightest stars in the sky. It's actually brighter than the moon, brighter than Venus. Um, and throughout the course of human civilizations, from ancient times to the present day, Sirius has maintained an association with divinity and has been revered as a profound source of great knowledge and great power. It carries special symbolic meaning for humanity. As the sun and Sirius conjunct, we're able to access this high frequency energy and use it for inspiration, entrepreneurial endeavors, technological innovations, and also heightening our intuition. So it's considered our spiritual sun. So if our sun in our solar system is our lifeline. It's the energy of birth, its warmth, and its sustenance. It keeps us alive and it helps us here in this present earthly reality. But the star Sirius is 23 times brighter than our own sun, giving it the name of the spiritual sun. So it helps us activate and shift into higher levels of awareness. So our sun warms our bodies, Sirius warms our soul. In ancient Egypt, Sirius was associated with the goddess Isis, who rules over the cycles of death and rebirth. Sirius was also associated with Venus, and Venus is one of the few planets that goes through a death and rebirth cycle as well during her retrograde periods. Sirius is believed to be the portal to the gods, so there's a Sirius gateway here that can bring through divine messages. Also, the portal to heaven. It aligns with the idea of spiritual awakening as well. Sirius also can hold the vibration of freedom, so releasing limitations and feeling free to express our true self. So freedom can give us inspiration and help us turn our goals and dreams into reality. Now, some people believe that there's an alien race associated with this star. I don't know personally. I've never met anyone from Sirius, but there are people out there that channel messages from the Sirians. So those of you that are tapped into this energy of the Sirian race or the Sirius energy, this is going to be a very nice time for you. This is going to be the lunation of the year for you to tap into Sirius energy. Let's see what else. Yeah, so we just connect ourselves to the heavenly bodies with this information. Let's go back and kind of take a look at some of this Sirius astrology. This is what the system is believed to look like. If you read the book Sirius Mystery, this book right here by Robert Temple, some of his theories have been kind of debunked in the recent years or so, but this still is a really, really good book to have on your shelf if you want some very good information about the star Sirius. The history, some of you may have heard of the Dogon tribe. This is something that that's a tribe in Africa that knew about the Sirius system. So there's thought to be, at least according to Robert Temple, there are 3 stars in the system. We only are for sure know about 2. The theory that there's a third one is kind of plus or minus. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but there's a 50-year cycle of Sirius B orbiting Sirius A star, and the Dogons were actually tapped into that 50-year cycle, and so were the Egyptians. So whenever Sirius B would eclipse Sirius A, there would be a shift of energy that was palpable to the ancient peoples. So let's talk a little bit about astrology. Bernadette Brady does a great job with fixed star astrology. And this is what she came up with. It's a marker of great deeds. The mundane might become sacred. There's a sacrificial energy here to a martyr type energy, a fame and a glory that comes posthumously. Posthumously means after death. So you do something great in your life, but you're not immortalized for it or remembered for it until after you're gone. And it has a very purifying energy, similar to Pluto. Pluto attains enlightenment through transformation and empowerment, and this is through a burning process. So when you burn away everything that isn't needed, then you get to the purification. You get to the thing that you wanted to get to once it's all burned away, and what's left is typically hardened and solidified and unable to get rid of. So high efforts here produces more than expected gains. Okay, so this is Sirius in the sky right now, and we have Sun and Moon conjunct this star uh, during the new moon. So these themes will play out during this next lunation. Now, I am someone who has planets next to star Sirius. I have both Venus and Saturn there. And again, I put the degrees here for those of you that follow tropical. It's in 14 degrees of Cancer and 15 degrees of Gemini. So I've got Saturn and Sirius and Isis and Lilith all conjunct this point in the sky. And when we have Venus and Sirius together, we get the poet, the artist, or the talented musician. And you look for divinity within one's own relationships. So it's migration, immigration, and new beginnings. So whenever I have a Venus return or a Saturn return, it's very much marked by these serious themes. And I am actually a musician and an artist. I'm just going to show you my office real quick. Bear with me, guys. So that is my music studio in that corner over there. And that's where I create all the original music for my meditations. And then on the wall there are 3 canvases that I'm about to do some acrylic art with for my living room. So yes, I'm very much an artist and a musician. Now, Saturn with Sirius is to be a founder of an institution, an idea that goes from strength to strength, to lay the foundation stone for others in one's family or community, and the idea of immortality. Now, immortality through creative legacy. And I very much resonate with this reading because what I'm endeavoring to do in a broader scheme with my channels and my social media and the business that I'm doing with constellational astrology is as I learn it, I'm creating a structure for you guys to learn. And that's what's on my course website, learn.drdanny.com. Everything that I've learned, I've gone through the difficult work of gathering the information, pulling it together into a cohesive, consumable format for those of you that don't want to do months of research. You just want to do a week or 2 of the study. So this, I very much resonate. So I wanted to share that with you. That's my personal astrology here. But one of the other things that's really important about, and this is going to touch on the larger arc of what we're talking about when it comes to precession and the hero's journey and why we look at the sky and how we look at the sky. I wanted to show you in Stellarium the precession that's happened. The conjunction of Sun with Sirius used to coincide with the summer solstice, which is June 21st. Okay. So 3,000 years ago, when the Egyptians were at the height of their empire, whenever the Sun and Sirius would conjunct, it was also the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. You've heard me talk about this before in my other videos, how the solstices seem to be much more important to ancient spirituality than do the equinoxes. So here's another sort of shift in consciousness that we're dealing with. And whenever you have this, this was the height of their civilization. And as the summer solstice drifts with precession, so does the height of the civilization, the height of the cosmology, the height of this particular society's cosmology begins to wane, just as the ancient cultures of the Americas in the northern hemisphere worship the pole stars. They didn't even really care about the zodiac. But as they migrated southward due to, environmental pressures, climate, all of that, the pole star gods began to die. They began to lose their significance, and the zodiacal stars began to gain in significance. And that cosmology grew and blossomed. Okay. So here we are in the height of the Egyptian culture at the summer solstice when the sun is conjunct Sirius. And that's what I did here. This is actually 1,000 years after their the height of their civilization. But here you can see just the same. Look at where the difference is. You see where the sun is about to enter into Cancer? This is what the tropical people are still looking at. For on the 21st of June, tropical said sun went into Cancer. This is why the tropical zodiac still exists. This is why people use it. We just stopped looking up there for a little while during the Middle Ages. But there's some benefits to that. I'm not going to go into that in the scope of this video, but I did want to show you. Look, this was right at the turn of the very first century, the beginning of our current calendar. The end of that cosmology began. And now look, this is where it is today, barely leaving Taurus and entering into Gemini. So you can see that the sky has been drifting 1 degree every 72 years. This is a long time. This is 2,000 years. So there's a drift. All right. And that drift in the sky is literally what is responsible for the changing of ancient cultures' cosmology through time. This is why we have this cognitive dissonance between the two different astrology systems. Okay. And so, what I am endeavoring to do, what my colleagues are endeavoring to do, is to bring this new cosmology to you because we need it now more than ever with where we are in our world, in our global society, our race as spiritual beings. We're about to head into space. We need to have a whole different outlook on things. And I think really looking to the sky is the best way to do that. So let's see, what else did I want? I wanted to read one thing to you about precession really quickly. This is from the book Sirius Mystery that I just showed you, talking about the heliacal rising of Sirius. And just emphasizing the point of the importance to it, to this ancient civilization of the Egyptians. The heliacal rising of Sirius was so important to the ancient Egyptians that gigantic temples were constructed with their main aisles oriented precisely towards the spot on the horizon where Sirius would appear in the expected morning. The light of Sirius would be channeled along the corridor due to its precise orientation to flood the altar in an inner sanctum as if a pinpointed spotlight had switched on. This blast of light focused from a single star was possible because of the orientation being so incredibly precise and because the temple would be otherwise in total darkness within. In a huge, utterly dark temple, the light of one star, focused solely on the altar, must have made quite an impact on those present. In this way, it was the presence of the star made manifest within the temple. One such temple to the star Sirius was the Temple of Isis at Dendera in Egypt. An ancient hieroglyphic inscription from the temple informs us that she shines into her temple on New Year's Day. This was their New Year's. For the Mayans, the winter solstice was their New Year. And she mingles her light with that of Father Ra on the horizon. Ra meaning the sun. Okay, so here in these pictures, we've got Ra conjunct Sirius. And here, the very same, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you in Stellarium because I think that'll make more sense. Then we're going to look at a quick video and then we're going to get into the astrology. So here is O24, the year O24. Okay. Oops, I don't want to do that. Hang on a second. There we go. Now we're going to go to present day. Do you see how it shifted? They don't even rise together anymore. Okay. So when does the actual Egyptian solstice occur in our current time frame? Well, let's just fast forward a little bit. It's not too far away. It's right about here. So, in order for the sun to be in the exact same position that it was when the Egyptians were on the Egyptian New Year or the summer solstice, we've got to go almost a month ahead in time. That's how much the sky has drifted. All right. So, you guys can see that. And then let's look at these stars spinning around one another. Gives you some astronomical data too here. It's only a minute. Yeah, so there you go. This is Sirius B orbiting around Sirius A star. So about every 50 years, we will get the occultation of Sirius A by Sirius B. Pretty cool. Can you imagine traveling to this place? It's 8 light years away. So if we can ever actually get that technology to work, we might be in good shape. Might be able to go there and visit. All right. So that's that. I'm not going to belabor that point. Let's go ahead back into let's do some astrology. So if you guys like this video so far, please hit the like button. If you're lurking, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want to know when videos go live, hit the notify button and it'll tell YouTube and Rumble should tell you right away. I am on Rumble now too, guys, too. So if you're watching this on Rumble, awesome. We're gonna do some Rumble only videos because I'm starting to get some sort of very polarizing messages through from Spirit about the things we need to talk about, and YouTube just does not feel like the place to do that. So I will leave a link to Rumble as well. All right, let's see. Sun, Moon are going to trine on to Saturn and also trine on to Lilith. So we have all this energy, all this beautiful star Sirius energy right here. And Venus is there within the orb of the conjunction. She's separating. She's about to separate completely. We'll be able to see her as an evening star here in about 3 weeks. It's going to be really spectacular. And this is a grand trine with Lilith and Saturn, and both Neptune and Saturn are also affecting this grand trine, and they're also both retrograde energies. And I did a video just on that, so hopefully you guys got to see that little energy update I did last week. But this reminds me of the decision triangle that you have in project management. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this. I went over this in my last video, but a lot of times when you have Saturn energy, it's not, even if it's a trine, it doesn't always feel that great. There's always like I have to make a decision. All the have to's in life, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. And with that comes decisions that you have to make. And so the idea is if you want something really, really good or really, really high quality, it will be expensive, and it will take time. So if you lean one way on this triangle, you lose the others. So if you want something really, really good, it'll be expensive and it will take time. If you want something quickly, it might not be as good and it might be expensive. If you want something that is not expensive, it might not be as good or it might take time. Okay, so there's give and take here in this kind of a trine. But it helps you make decisions that maybe without an emotional component. Saturn's hanging out in Aquarius right now, which is a very ambivalent energy. It's not associated with a lot of emotions. So it could be a nice opportunity to use this kind of rubric to make decisions, because with Venus energy opposing Pluto, which is also happening over here, this is about to happen in a couple of days. Mercury already did it, and that's waning as well. We're getting this purging energy as all these personal planets move through this opposition to Pluto. And as Venus moves into Cancer, which will be on the 7th, in a couple of days after this new moon, it's not a harsh purging energy. It's a compassionate and gentle purging energy. It's like I need to do this. It's not you. It's me. You got to go. That has to go. That has to go. Okay. So use that decision triangle to help you. Lilith has also got a lot of Plutonian energy in her. It's instinctual. It can be obsessive. So you're going to know when things are not in harmony, in balance, which is Libra energy, right? So she's hanging out over here in Libra, instinctually showing us what is energetically appropriate for us in a compassionate way through the decision rubric of Saturn. Okay, so that's how I see that trine. Now, you definitely want to pay attention to the nodes as well, because this here we have our North Node in Pisces and our South Node in Virgo. This is collective energy. This is collective destiny. And the moon and sun are going to square on these. This happens twice a year. It happens in this aspect as the moon heads towards the South Node, and as the moon leaves the South Node, head towards the North Node. So you get one on either side of it. So you can liken this to a third quarter type of energy with moon or Jupiter Saturn cycles. It's a waning of energy, taking the last actions to truly get the self into the next eclipse cycle as well. Because once that sun makes a conjunction with the South Node, we're going to have another set of eclipses. And this is going to happen in September and October. So we're also going to have, because of eclipse points, we're working with the previous eclipse points. We're going to have a new set of eclipse points that might help us see what themes are going to be used during the next eclipses. So you have this square. So that, remember, this is just kind of the last actions you need to do for this year cycle to end. So this is an important lunation. It's like a quarterly energy. Jupiter will sextile the North Node and trine on the South Node. So there's an expansive opening into the truth of our purpose. And Jupiter in Taurus is a really nice energy. It's an abundant energy. It's an expansion of your values. It's an expansion of your self-worth. And it's an expansion of stuff. It can also be overly, it can overdo it, drink too much, eat too much, gain too much weight, that kind of energy. So you want to be real careful with that. But anything that's associated with our collective destiny and our collective purpose, it's an opportunity and an opening to expand into that. We can also expand into our old patterns and our old habits too here with Jupiter sextiling on the node or trining the South Node. All right, let's see. What other aspects do we have that are not related to the moon? But we have some big aspects between the larger luminaries in the sky right now as well during this new moon that will be in effect through this whole cycle probably. The first one is this trine to Uranus and Pluto. That's going to last for a while. Then we have Neptune sextiling on Pluto and Saturn sextiling on Mars. And then Uranus is sextiling to Venus. So lots of openings here with the bigger planets to tap into their more spiritual, etheric energies. This trine between Pluto and Uranus can manifest as transformational metamorphosis, unexpected transformation, individual change, individual purifications. And as Mars moves closer to Uranus, there's going to be action involved with it. Even though Mars is leaving Aries, its home constellation, and moving into Taurus, because Taurus is a much slower place for Mars, Mars and Uranus together can be unexpected action. So a lot of times accidents. So if you're prone to accidents, be very careful while Mars is transiting over Uranus, especially look and see what houses those are in. If those are in your houses of health, 6, 12, or 8, then you might be experiencing some health issues in accidents, surgeries, things like that. All right, so that's interesting. And then the Pluto sextile Neptune, that's something that's been going on for 100 years and will continue for quite a while, but it's surrendering to that metamorphosis. And of course, it's perfect timing, right? Because we are transitioning as a collective, as humanity, from the age of Aquarius, from the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. And that too is a function of precession. So precession's a big deal. It's not something we notice in one lifetime, but it's definitely something that changes humanity's cosmologies. And we, my friends, are definitely in the middle of a transition of cosmology. So, what might these two sextiling on Saturn might bring? Mars and Saturn is like driving with your foot on both the gas pedal and the brakes. Saturn's very structured, very calm, very cool and collected, and Mars is like, let's go, let's do this, you know? So there's an opportunity here to take measured action, which I highly encourage if you're going to be having some aspects with Uranus and Mars. So a measured action. That's always nice. And then, of course, Mercury opposing Pluto, hidden information coming through, but it's going to be done in a compassionate way because Mercury in Cancer is compassionate communication, compassionate thinking, uh, thinking with love. So, all in all, very good energy, very powerful energy. Let's see if there's anything else I missed. No, I got it all. So, okay, kind of a brief video, I guess. I really like the live energy because then I interact with you guys, and if there's something I missed, y'all kind of call me out. So we'll be getting back to that soon. All right. Yeah, my next video is going to be more of a lecture concept piece that's not really timed with any current astrology, but I'm working on a bigger idea. I'm working on a book, and I want to run some ideas by you. So the first idea is focusing on precession. That'll be thing one. We're also going to take a look at our cosmology, how it might be affected if we make our new year, instead of being in Aries in spring, why not make it at one of the solstices? So we're gonna dive into that probably in the next few days. I'll have that video out. So yeah, join the Fellowship of 13 Sign, you guys, on Facebook. Follow me on Rumble as well. Get a reading, take a class, join us. We're the beginning. This is the start of a new age, a new cosmology, and our group's on the ground floor of that. So I hope y'all can join us. And until the next video, I love you all. Namaste.